Welcome to the Hampshire 1900 start for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. We're picking up on the 9th of April 1928, which is about 5 months on from the end of the last part. Not much has happened since the end of the last part because I haven't really planned anything. All I've just done is let the game run and give it an attempt to try and let it catch up with the backlog of work that I've piled up, especially in Warstock. And in this part, I've got quite a shopping list of things that I need to talk about and do. Nothing excessively major. It's more kind of bits and pieces. But I have made a list, which I'm going to try and work through. But I can almost guarantee we're going to get sidetracked. But before that, as usual, big thank you for your comments and feedback. You guys give me a lot to think about. And I did get 2 comments, which I'm going to try and talk about. But they are very involved, so I'm not going to go into great detail. One is waste management, especially bio-waste, and the other one is the recurring theme which I talked about in the last part, which is track upgrading. And I think that's going to become quite a big issue, especially as it's completely new since the introduction of the early start. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about the question of, well, waste management in general and how you get bio-waste and what you actually do with it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that of all the game mechanics, waste management is probably one of the most challenging logistically. And when you first start out, it may seem quite simple. You just pick up the waste and you ship it to the board, or you do things like that. But as your game evolves and you move away from the border, managing all the waste, because virtually everything you build will produce waste in one shape, form or description. And that waste will pile up, and it will involve making certain key decisions. And those key decisions could actually give you major headaches, because one of the problems you will have is if you build lots of small towns, then you've got to collect that waste and then do something with it. So that is one issue. Now, the other one, which is what the comment related to, was bio-waste. Now, bio-waste cannot be separated. There is nothing down here in the separation plants that will separate bio-waste from mixed waste. Once it becomes mixed waste, it's effectively lost to you from the point of view of using it to make fertilizer. The only way you can get biological waste is separation at source. And by its source, I'm talking about this source here. Now, one thing you do need to be aware of is the fact that before, I think, is it 1958, was it 59? I can't remember. Let me just go here, because what you've got to get is waste separation education here. It's 1959. So before 1959, the only waste separation of biological waste that you get is at industrial sites like this. You can see here we've got waste separation here, but if we come over to the kind of domestic area here, you see I've got bio waste separated. This has got 20% bio waste, but your domestic buildings will not separate waste until you've done that research in 1959. And that's very significant when you first start out. But having said that, what I will say is that industrial sources are probably going to be the biggest source of biological waste on the way throughout the game. The reason for that is that biological waste, to move biological waste, you've really got to start using trains, especially as you push out on inland. So you're only really going to want to separate biological waste in actual urban areas if you've got can collect enough to justify building a what's it down here, a claw dump with actually a railway track connection. It's this one at the end here. And what you would do is you would collect the biological waste into here and then ship it to a place where it can be turned into fertilizer. That comes down, that means that you've got to be able to justify that source, and there's no point pretending otherwise. So if you've got a farming area like here, which is basically what I'm drifting towards, and we're going to have farming over here, And what we will do is actually build fertilizer plants. But if you're away from a source where you're not have a farm where you can send the fertilizer to quite regularly, it's not worth separating the biological waste. And what you do is you just send it to the incinerator, and what the incinerator does is basically burn everything. And when separation plants come available, I can't remember, when do separation plants become available? When's the separation plant? Because that's the next big step with respect to waste collection, which will be in waste processing. Waste separation will be in 1935, so that'd be 7 years time. What you do is you literally connect the separation plant directly to the incinerator. So all you remove from the separation process is the non-burnables. That's metallic waste, construction waste, and aluminium waste, if in the rare events you get it. Everything else just goes into the incinerator, gets burnt out, and then what you get out at this end is, if you've got it right, because this is the reason why you do the separation before you do the burn, you get ash, a pure ash coming out, and then what you create is eventually, especially when you've got a large centralized waste processing, you create an ash farm where the ash slowly decomposes. Now, a couple of things you need to think about with waste management is it's very tempting to send mixed waste or even hazardous waste to the border by train. It's not a good idea because the unloading speeds for waste is really, really slow. And that's not just at the customs posts, it's also when trains drop off. So if you start sending trains into a customs shed with loads and loads of mixed waste on it, eventually what can happen is they will be blocking your customs shed from preventing the export of more profitable products. That also comes to another consideration, which is, if I come over to Warstock, eventually over here we're going to have coal mines and we're going to have iron mines up here. Now, mining operations produces quite large amounts of construction waste. Now, the problem with construction waste is that unloading construction waste, again, in an aggregate store is very slow. And that's okay if you're not producing much construction waste. But if you're producing large quantities of construction waste, it's far easier from a kind of distribution purposes is to turn it into gravel first and then ship the gravel, because the gravel unloading times aren't spectacular, but they're still faster than mixed waste unloading times, if that makes sense. And this is one of the main challenges of waste management. It's not just about planning your shipment and based on the loads that you're actually producing and where you need to get it. It's also managing the method that you do it. There's also problems with cross-contamination, because if you accidentally contaminate a source, that can blow up your whole waste distribution process as well. So it's something that you, and this is what makes waste management such an, well, it can turn into a waste management nightmare if you're not careful. Anyway, I've kind of belabored that a little bit longer than I intended. Now, the next thing I want to do before we actually start doing any work is I want to show you the fact that since the end of the last part, and we're now in 1928, if I come in here, and we've got 1929, which came in a bit early. What you see is we've now got quite a lot of new vehicles turning up here. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I think it's a track layer, but we've now got YAR4s, and so the speed is increasing, but not the capacity. So that is there. We've also, and I think that's everything got there, but I think it gets more interesting if we go over to the Western combination. Again, we'll just sort by start production. You see now we're getting some fairly good excavators now, although the speed level isn't brilliant. And we've actually got a Cat 30 open hole, which is, well, that's 1925, 1927. So we are now moving, especially with respect to the actual DLC, we're now starting to get some of the DLC vehicles arrive as well. So we may need to kind of consider actually getting these all sorted out. Now, So that covers the general introduction. So what I want to do now is, rather than do a general update, I'm going to work through the various settlements. So we're going to start in Milford-on-Sea because this is probably the simplest one here. And what we're going to do, what I've found here is, I haven't put the power in yet because I was still kind of building up the area, but what I haven't got here is actually a pub. So we need to put a pub in. I'm not sure where we can put a pub in. I keep on forgetting about the pub. Oops, go back one. I think we're going to put in this. It'd be nice if I could put you in. I think we're just kind of put you on this building here, and we won't worry about. Oops. I can't just hook you up there, so that will get picked up. Now the next thing I need to do is actually plan this area here. In fact, I think I might be able to save a bit of time here. Come here. This could get a bit shaky. Kind of. Can I pick up? Why can't I pick up these? I can't pick up these. Okay, we're just gonna have to go with that. I'm gonna put you in. Oh, we picked them up? I'm not sure. I'm gonna kind of tuck you in there. And what I'm gonna get, actually, we might as well make it parallel to the main road. Maybe. Actually, no, we're going to put it over this way. Put it there. Put you there. Remove you. Oh yeah, we didn't pick up the... We lost that bit there. So, and what this should do is give us the kind of connections here. I'd like that to be thing. Take you out there. What this will do is it will give us the sewage, our garbage management, 2 construction offices here, vehicle depot. We've got distribution office here. I think what I might do is remove this and see if we can select the roads, accept those roads there. What have we got in the way of distribution offices now? Let me just get here. Because of course I've lost my favourite one. I think if I can get you on that corner, I'm gonna need 1, 2, get 3 across. Okay, we can't build that because we don't have a... Okay, we got 3 across the back there. And we can... we'll come across like that. And hook up you and you like that. Except you trim back that bit there. And what this will do is give us our management area here. I'm just going to put these on high priority, I think. This one on high priority as well. So I think if we can get these construction offices online, we can start tidying up this area here. Now, as I say, I don't think I've put in the power supplies yet. I'm kind of ducking that. Or have I? Is this, or is this okay, this is the main terminal block. We've built that. We need to put in a power supply. So we need to put in, I think we've got multiple connectors there. So I think what we'll do is I want to leave that space there because we've got to put hotels in. So I think we're going to put you there. And of course, we're going to have to use the 8 megawatt connector to there. And I think that's all we can do in Milford-on-Sea at the moment. I'm a little bit worried about fire here, but there's not much we can do about it. Now, we're going to go back to Eastleigh. Now, the first thing I want to do is, one thing that did happen since the end of the last part is we've had another fire. So I've now got 134 tons of hazardous waste here, 925, and there's a good chance these will burn down. But I've got to start clearing these areas. Actually, that isn't connected. Not that it makes that much difference. So what I'm going to do is actually, and this is all hazardous waste. Now, I don't want to spend money because our profit margins are dropping it now because our economy is growing. You can see we've got a population of nearly 12,000. Okay, we've got a new vehicle just come in. And what I'm going to do is kind of kick this off in slow time. And I want to clear, which one should we do first? We'll do this one first. And what that will do, and this is the reason for the title of the video, is I've got to start cleaning up these areas because this is going to take a long time. And we also got to start putting things together in this area. Just want to take a quick look at these on the way through. What are you waiting for? Construction mechanism. Just want to check. This is being built. Okay. I'm trying to asphalt in this road simply because it's come here. So we got a bit of a maintenance. I'll put you on there. I'm trying to get and kind of make this a little bit more efficient than it should be. The other thing I wouldn't mind doing is we can, yeah, maintaining the gas station, and we're okay. You're on both of those. That's okay. Now, the next thing I want to look at here, and I want to give a special shout out to Larson Gate, who actually reminded me that there is a wood-fired brick factory. It's by, I think it's made by Off the Rails. We come to factory, and I put in brick. It's this one here. It's a small brickworks. Well, I think this is the one he mentioned. It's the one I've got, and it's been around for some time. We've also got this double brick kiln, but the trouble with this is it doesn't have any. It burns coal, but it doesn't actually do it. So what I want to do is try, just in an attempt to try and cut down costs, is I want to put the small brick kiln in here, because obviously when we develop Southampton, we're going to need bricks for sewers and stuff like that. So what I want to do is up here, we're going to put in a small, oh, wow, that's a bit bigger than now. We're going to come in, I think now this is going to eat into here. Let me just see. This is 18,208 tons of wood. Drop you in, say about there. Then we get the brick factory. Okay, this is going to be, you can put it there. It's got water, it's got sewage, it's got power. It will be within walking distance of the bus stop, because the bus stop's going to be there. How much wood have we lost? We lost about 1,000 tons, but it'll be okay. It's not like it's mission critical. Okay, what we got here? Okay, we got Ford gondola. That's going to be quite important. That might be. And we got a NARM 1. If we, let's have what we also got here. Oops. Yeah. We got a... That's that strange vehicle, which I'm pretty sure is a track builder. Let me just have a look. That's not a track builder. So what is it? Is it some kind of open hole? Just sort by... Nope. I've got absolutely... Not a paver, is it? If it's a paver, it's... Nope. Anyway, the NARM... I put in... This is a vehicle which it's either it's probably either a police car or not. It's a personal car or a police car. Oh no, it's not. It's just a personal car. Okay. And that is a good reminder of something else that I want to do. Because I think it's important now. You can see if I show you here, one thing I did do through the closing months of while I was playing on is I kind of started to get rid of the horse-drawn vehicles, and I think it's time to bring that age to an end. You can see we've got 2 left. You're going that way, okay, and you're in exports. Where are you? I think exports is the only place where I've still got horse-drawn vehicles. No, it's this one here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow this guy, wait for him to drop off at the customs shed, because 1700 rubles is 1700 rubles. So we're just going to let him go up to the border. And once he's sold off the stuff, we'll send him to the scrapyard. So here he is. He's just going into the border. He sold that off. And what we're going to do is... Where is it? Get rid of you. One thing I didn't do is I want to check where you guys are dropping off. Burning pit, Northern incinerator. That should now leave me with a single one. Okay. Yeah. What are you doing up there? Okay, let's get rid of that. You're a gravel distro. What are you doing? I think we'll get rid of you and then sort out what you're actually doing. Oh, you're just the export bod. Okay, that's no problem. We can... what are you guys covering then? So you're exporting a lot of food. You're exporting... Okay, maybe what I need to do is we're just going to get a... These are all covered holes. Capacity. I think maybe it's time to... we were using this guy, so if we replace him with the Russo Bolt, we'll speed that process up. So what we've done now is, in theory, we no longer have... What's going on here? Yeah, there's no horse-drawn vehicles left now. That means what I need to do now is we can just demolish this. That. These guys can go onto there. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. You're actually on auto detect. Yeah, you're on auto detect. So You can pick up that. Actually, you on auto detect as well. Yeah. Get rid of you. I mean, we could recover the food, but I think that is about it. I think I've got them all now. One thing I wouldn't mind doing, seeing we've got rid of you, we've got rid of the horse-drawn wagons, is we could do with, we got a gas station there. I think what I wouldn't mind is a gas station over here, because eventually we might be pushing out, because we got a gas station. We've got a gas station. Actually, we've got a gas station there, but it's got no fuel. Haha. Okay. So we don't need that. We just need to put fuel into there. So I think that is all we need to do in Eastleigh. We've got set up the waste removal. We've got that's been built. I don't think I can push this out any further. That means I can remove these kind of scruffy roads here now. I'll leave that there because it's a bit of a shortcut for the thingy. This is being built. Right, I need to get, let me just get this set up, because once we go to Warstock, I don't really want to come back here, except for maybe just to fix up the kind of road connections here. And then of course what this will be is a half wood, half bricks, and then we can get that going. Right, so now we're off to Warstock, where we're going to spend the rest of the video, unless of course something goes wrong, which is always a possibility, because I've got even, and of course the first thing I want to talk about is that I've got an even bigger waste process here, because you can see this whole area now has been flattened. We've got 437 tons of waste in there, 500 tons of hazardous waste, 925 tons of hazardous waste there, 79 tons and there. And I need to clean this area up because we can't, until we've removed the waste, I can't redesign the area. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these guys on over here. We'll start with the warehouses, I think. Yeah, we can start with the warehouses. I'm a bit worried about that fact that our fire extinguisher good. So that's the first thing we've done. Now the next thing I need to do, and this is a bit unfortunate, but there's not much I can do about this, is we're not really producing enough food up here. And bearing in mind that we've got a population of 11,000, and you could probably say the majority are now resident in this area. And so what I want to do is we're going to come here, get that there. And what I want is, I want a food factory here, but I want to try and fit it in this corner. It's an old food factory. That's, wow, that's big. But the trouble with this is it will produce a lot of food, but I don't know, it can store 15 tons of, it will take 40 workers. Will that work? If I can put you there. Ooh. I was going to use, oh, that's, well, how big's this one? We got an old food factory here that says it can produce 14 tons of crops. This one, this is way too big. Island food factory, wow, that's even bigger. See, this one produces 6 tons. This is a rural bakery. I'm not sure, oh, because this is a bakery, so it's not. So we could use the rural bakery and get another 6 tons, but I do like this. I think we're going to give this a go. I can't remember ever building it. Or if I did build it, it was a very, very long time ago. So we're going to put you in there. The problem is we're going to need to manage it. We got capacity here. But I think if we can build that in, that will get things going along. Now up here, we don't need the wood-fired brick factory, because what I want to do now, I've really got to do something about this pond, is I want to actually put the proper brick factory in here. Now this brick factory is going to be fairly significant if I can find it. We are going to use the in-game one. Where's the... This is going to be 51 tons. This isn't modded. Is this the... I think this is the actual in-game one. This requires 33 tons. What does this one produce? This is... I would like to build this one. The reason I want to build this one is the fact that this brick factory is going to be supplying bricks across the map. So I'd like to put you about there. As I say, I'm pretty sure this is the... In fact, I'm certain it's the in-game one. Conveyor tower. I'm going to kind of put you back that way a bit. So you will get that out that way. And then what we're going to do is put in a kind of a drop-off point here. Kind of, we could possibly put a conveyor point there. How far? Actually, I've just thought of something. I'm gonna put a mud road off of here. Definitely got to get rid of this build, and I've got a way to get rid of it, to be honest. Put you there, and I'm gonna put a free gas station out here and a free construction office, and a free construction office there. I'm gonna go over to here. Where are you? Put some gas into there. Then what we can do is bring out a bulldozer and an excavator so I can fix this area. Right. Next thing we're going to need is a... Actually, if we flip that way, I want to aim you in that direction. I know I left the road connection here. Okay, we're gonna leave that for the moment. So what we'll do is we'll produce the bricks here, come there, and this is definitely going to need a rail connection. And that leads into the second comment that made me really pause and think, which is electrification and upgrading tracks. What on earth is that? LCT, is that a track builder? Let's just have a look at that. Don't reckon. Yes, it is. Okay, so we have got 2 track builders here. Both arriving in 1928. Track builder speed 4. Oh god, that's terrible. 8. I think the PK6 is probably better. And these suspiciously look like they actually run on coal. Don't know if they were sharp as the steam locomotive, but I doubt it. No. So back to what I was actually talking about is the fact that the upgrading the track is going to be a challenge, simply because it's something that's completely new since the introduction of the early start DLC. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm probably going to keep coming back to it because it is new territory and we do need to come up with a strategy. And as I say, I've had suggestions about this here. And of course, we've now got the option to electrify wooden track. And I think what I'm going to need to do, and especially is the fact that we're going to be using coal-fired trains for a long time, what I feel that we need to do... What is this guy doing? Where did that come from? Oh, you're building from that end, aren't you? No, you're not. Were you building from that end? I don't understand where that bit of track came from. I think he was probably, because they would normally build from that end. Is that a glitch? Yeah, I mean... I don't understand that. That could be a problem. What are these guys actually building? Sorry about this. That's got me... That shouldn't be built that way. What are you guys actually currently working on? You're building out that way. It says you're 61% on that one. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me, because if this track was being laid, the train would run from here. Unless that's a graphic glitch. I've got no idea. We got a tram here. Okay, back to what I was talking about. There it is here. Good old chuffer chain. I think what I need to do to understand what I'm going to upgrade is I need to think about how I'm going to classify tracks. And there's kind of long term, there's kind of 3 options. That is simple wooden tracks, which will be used in where we're actually building here at the moment, where we're going to a coaling station. Therefore, the only trains that are going to go up it are going to be trains that need coal. So therefore, they don't need electrification. And also, because these are going to be relatively short runs of track, they don't need to be upgraded to concrete. You might as well just leave them as wooden track. Now, the next classification is going to be wooden track that's electrified. And an example of that would be this bit of track as far as here, because we're going to run a crop train from here to over to here, and that's a relatively short distance. And then of course the next thing will be simple concrete track. Now that will probably be just something which will be quite rare, because once we get to being able to have concrete track with electrification, we will start moving towards electrifying the track, even if we don't use the electrified trains, because the big challenge is going to be connecting up all the electrified tracks. So for example, this will be a electrified concrete track so that we can put electric trains into this distribution office, which will run out this way. So, but at the same time, the distribution office may have diesel trains in it as well. So we're going to kind of run a combination around. The problem with distribution office is a bit of a tip here. If you mix electric and diesel trains in the same distribution office, say for example you've got destinations which require a diesel train and electric train, what can happen is the game will get confused and it will try and send an electric train to the diesel pickup. So strictly speaking, if you're running rail distribution offices, they should specialize. They should either be fully diesel or fully electric. In fact, that's the best way to actually do it. So that's another thing that you need to be a little bit of aware of. Anyway, back to here. What I would like to do is create some kind of track here, which we can then use to connect up to here. But I want options for other things as well, because I think I was talking about in the last part of bringing in the aggregate to there, and we may need to ship iron ore. But of course, at the same time, we got the problem is that this track will need to be upgraded. So what I'm thinking is, what we're going to do is we're going to put you there, and then run you, as a little chuffer train. Actually, it's a bit too close. Bring you back this way. And well, just accept that track there. Just remove the what we call it. What are they? These. What I will do is also remove these, just to keep it simple. And we'll remove you. Now, what I want to do is, this is where the upgrade path comes in. We're going to put a track to there, and we're going to bring a track up to there. What this will do is allow us to isolate this line, and then what we can do is fiddle around and get things going. Now, the reason I've done that is that I want to run the rail track out this way, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick off a line here. Actually, we're going to go out like that, come that way, run up that way, and then I need to measure. I'm going to need, so we're probably going to need to come to about there, and be a bit more generous actually. You come back a little bit further. Actually, come this way, run you through there. You can ignore the mud road because, oh great, maybe we can't ignore the mud road because it's going to be a bit of a pain in the neck. Right, how much distance? This is a bit short, so what we're going to do is trim you back a little bit because you've kind of back curved a little bit here. You're going to come up there, get the measuring tape, Right, that's roughly 159. So what we're going to do is bring you in up to about there, maybe a smidge further, and then merge you into that track like that, and we'll accept that. Tidy up this bit of track here like that. What this does is it brings a spur into here. Well, God, this guy really shifts. I quite like this guy. Yeah, what is he? Okay, he's the PK1 we got here. Oh wow. Okay, we will go and take a look at that, because the Mack trucks, if you've got the money, can be very, very significant. And I emphasize, if you've got the money. We'll run you there. Oops, no, cancel that. Just run you in directly there. Of course, we're just going to need to back measure again. So we need to come to about there. And you need to come into about there and accept that. Get rid of that. What this will mean is we can even run fairly long trains into here to go there. We will remove that and that, but it also means that we can kind of spur off another line from here to pick up other things as well. Right, we're just going to go and look at those Mack trucks, because the Mack trucks are very useful in, if I can see it now. So if we go here, do a filter, and what you can see here is we've got a whole load of these Mack trucks, and the nice thing about these is some of them have got capacity, like this one here, this series logging truck can carry 15 tons of steel at 40 kilometers an hour. Some of the other one, we even got this Mack series tractor where 40 can carry up to 40 tons. We got a dumper which can carry 15 tons at 50 kilometers an hour. We've got this. Actually, if we do sort by, actually just put this in Mack. Sort by capacity. So you can see here we've got some really heavy duty trailers, and more importantly here you'll see that we've now got these Mack trucks which can carry 12 tons of crops at 50 kilometers an hour, which if you consider, and we've also got this tanker, so you can see here we've also got a Mack AC fire truck which has got capacity of 12 as well, and 50 kilometers an hour. So if you kind of go back to what we're kind of running back up in Eastleigh, so if we go back to Eastleigh and say we look at, let's do the fire trucks first. If I can, where's the fire station? The moment we're using the ammos, which they are comparable with, but the big difference is over here is you can see that these covered holes are 11 tons and they carry 18 kilometers an hour. So using Mack trucks for your farms will make quite a significant difference to your harvesting capability, because not only are they faster, but they can carry a tiny amount more. So that means that your harvesting process will go a bit quicker. Now the downside is that the buying them, we've only got 366,000. So this is where you get the argument for actual vehicle manufacture. You know, if you can make the Mack trucks, so basically what we've got to do now is find somewhere where we can put in a template do or a vehicle manufacturing. I don't know what we got here. I've got to find it. Sorry about this. It's not a vehicle depot. So what we need is a vehicle production line, small vehicle production line, but they're all massive. So we can get something like that. This is the kind of starting game one. We've got this one here, which is 90, but what we can do, and this is where if you've got, if we put in horse, clear that, actually, I guess a production line. We got the horse breeder, actually, I get rid of that, see what we got in the way of production line. Small dry dock. I think we've seen that one. We got the horse breeder, which is this, which is cheap and cheerful. What I'm looking for is a relatively small scale. We got this one here, it's motor plant. That takes 40 workers. We got a mechanic here, which I must admit I've never ever used. I mean, it's a nice small one. It only needs 12 workers. This one, oh, this one's not too bad. We could use that. The question is, where would we put it? It's got 1,600 workers here, 200. I think at the moment it's going to be a little bit of a decision between. I think the wagon breeder is really good, but the problem with it is it's incredibly slow, and it can have problems with long vehicles. There's a bit of a tip. It's great for when you're producing small vehicles, say police vehicles and stuff like that. But I do like this one, and this one, I quite like this vehicle production line here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about that, and we'll look at it and in the next part, because I think if we can get some form of vehicle production going now, so we can produce Mack trucks, and then we can use those to replace our steam wagons in our farms, we're going to get a lot more efficiency. The question's going to be is how much unemployment we've got. Rolling collapse. Where's that? Yep, there's another one just gone. This is definitely something you need to consider. It's also something, if you create your own maps, guys, I know it's great to put lots and belts and buildings on it, but it makes any populated map with buildings completely unpractical for if someone's playing realistic mode or early start. Unless you happen to build like buildings which are right next to where the starting location is, maybe there's something I'll look at in the future. Basically, they're all going to collapse and burn down, but before you can actually get out there and utilize them. Let me just see. My instinct is I was going to look at unemployment, wasn't I? Let me just look at unemployment. Put that there. We've got a little bit of unemployment. In fact, but we'll get unemployment from here, won't we? And producing vehicles isn't something you want to do 24/7. I think what we could do is set up a winter production line, but the question is, we would need to get the workforce from there. Right. Apologies for this. What's the one that we were going to do? It was this one, wasn't it? What is the internal storage is good. Just wondering, where could we put it? Actually, I've just had an idea. It's a bit far out. We would have to bring in steel from here. But what I'm thinking is that we've got no power down here at the moment, I don't think. Let me just see. We got power. Why can't I see the... Oh, it's there. Actually, we could put it in there. Say we put it there. Yeah, we could put a spherical production line in here. See, the reason I'm looking at this, actually we could put it there, run a power line down, because if we bring a workforce down here, what I can do then is put a fire station here, which will protect this area. So maybe that's the path. We got a little bit of an enclave here. We could create a kind of industrial park here. I'm liking this, actually. Liking it a lot. Because what we could do is put a vehicle production, it's nice and green as well. And we could put a vehicle production plant there. We will need a warehouse. We've only got the one connection, but that's not a problem. But I would put a Tudor warehouse on the end here. Actually, put that the other way. Put a Tudor warehouse here, like that, and of course we'll put a cargo station on the end as well, like that. We will put an asphalt road directly into there like that. And then what we will do is put a fire station, small fire station, put you virtually opposite that. And this will give us a vehicle production area. Okay, high priority, please. Yeah, I'm liking this, because then we've got a... let me just see here. Yeah, we could... Yeah, I'm gonna bring in... Get you there. Oh, come off it, game. That's cheating. Actually, I could put... let me just see. We can put one here, actually. This is what I love about this game. The furthest thought... because of course rover pipes can't build over water. Okay, we can come in like that. Put a gravel road there. And I think just to keep things tidy, because we still only got the 8 megawatt. Actually, can we run an 8 megawatt cable up to, where is it there? Run an 8 megawatt cable down to there, which will give us another power source here. And of course, what we could do is extend this to provide power into Southampton. Although we will be putting our own power source here. And what we will need to do is bring... So this will be our vehicle production area here. And then that means we can create Mack trucks and other key vehicles which will make a big difference. We're not going to manufacture all our vehicles because it may not be cost effective, because we've got to import the necessities, steel, plastics and all that stuff as well, all that gubbins. And what we can do is use that as a winter production capacity when people are unemployed. Just make sure they can all get to, yeah, they can all get to that there. Okay. Yep. I like that. And that will make me feel a lot more comfortable about this area here. You know, giving this protection against fire. Anyway, I've just realized I'm going over time on this video again, mainly because I'm just getting really sucked into what I need to do. Now, what I would really like to do is get to 1929. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play right on through until 1929 so that we can, because the research I really want to do, and I want to do it ASAP because I've got a burning question which will have a big impact on track upgrading, and that is being able to do this research. I want to see whether we can actually do this research for concrete. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.